Okay, my name is Prudence Mabele, and I'm the Executive Director of Positive Women's Network, also the African Women's Leaders Network, and a council member of the Gender-Based Violence. One of the things that I wanted to share is the fact that South Africa is having a very big challenge relating to women abuse and young girls abuse. And recently we've had a 16 days of activism where we were in a township in Davidson, and we were talking to older women. They range between 70 to 80, and they were saying to us they need female condom. They want to put them on in case they get people coming to them to rape them. They shouldn't, be subjected.
And these are older women?
Yeah, these are women
Wow.
who are 80. Recently, there's a rural area in KZN where at least I can say in that village, maybe 10 grandmothers have been raped, and they are ranging between 90. But what is striking, recently, before end of January, there's a woman called Nana Poison. She is 17 years. She was raped. They put bottles on her vagina. After that, they cut her, and all her intestines were coming out, and she managed to be found. And she was sent to the hospital, and her mom came to see her. Her mom saw, before they called an ambulance, her mom saw the shoes that was her daughter, the way she was so violated, heat and all. And that was a gang rape. So these cases are too many. They're happening at all levels, and now they're happening between as small as baby. Like we know baby Tsepang was a child who was 9 months old, who was also raped, and she wasn't killed. She's still alive today. But the damage that it does psychologically to such, I'm still in touch with her, to such children. She can't play without using any sexual acts. And what I can say, we have beautiful laws, we have everything. There's still some gaps in some of the laws. There's, Tutuzela centers, but I can tell you right now, every 6 minutes a woman is raped. Even those centers now cannot represent what it's supposed to do. And one thing that I can also, alert to is every one woman would just report her her rape. 8 will shy away. So everyone in 9, 8 cases are not going to the police, and the police themselves also, they would rape the women themselves when they're coming to report, and the nurses at the hospital, they would also treat the victims very, very bad, that at the end some of them would leave without taking the PEP prophylaxis, so that they can make sure that they don't catch HIV. So half of the time, the people who are perpetrators, you see them in your own town, in your own townships. They are there. They leave, and they go and they come out of a bail easily. So that has been a very defeating factor. So now what we are left with is that we know for sure you are not safe as a woman in South Africa. Anything can happen to you. I have a grandmother. Every Sunday, I don't go to church. I stay and look after her, because if I don't do that, I know that they all gone to church. Anything could happen to her. So it's that worry, So there's just this anger, there's this war against women that we don't understand. So we are trying to work with others to try and communicate to the young men and understand what is really happening. Recently, I've had this in commemorating Anene, this woman who was killed, the 17-year-old. I had panties that they call bloody panties. The panties that I painted red, just to show and to say to people, you have your hands are filled with blood, because you are taking what we call a precious, underwear. We're covering ourselves, but you pull it down and forcefully. So with that project, I've had a lot of young men really feeling very provocative, fighting and making their case. And they even came to the women's prison, because that's where I put the panties. The exhibition was there. They were saying to me, how can you be so brutal? I'm saying there's nothing brutal about it. This is what is happening. And the panties were ranging from a 97-year-old grandmother to a 3-month-old child. And it was a outcry to say, man, just review what you're doing to the country now. And with those panties, many men pulled out their cell phone and showed me that, look, we keep porno in our phones. And so when you women dress in a funny way, it's like you are inviting. And I had to sit them down, and we had some, good discussion around. It doesn't mean if you are standing in the street, you're wearing a hot pen, you are asking for it. It doesn't mean if you ask if you are you're sitting alone in a bar and a guy comes and join you, that you ask for it. It doesn't mean so. We had to go through a lot of things. Even a sex worker doesn't deserve to be raped, even if they work in that industry. So it was taking time, but it made a lot of sense to some young men. At the end, they totally agreed, but it took a lot of convincing. So I think the country right now, it must have those conversations. If those conversations doesn't happen now, we are hitting for a disaster. We might as well use what I call Resolution 1320. Is it 21? Or, yeah, the one that is used when a country is in a war, because really South Africa is in a war when it comes to these issues. And recently there's been this case of a supermodel, River, and Oscar Pistorious, who is a disabled athletic that the world adores. And this guy has so much anger. Today, I'm talking the 22nd, on the 14th of February, allegedly he was with the girlfriend, and he killed. Apparently, he killed the girlfriend, but now he says it was a mistake. And he got in a bail today, I think, of 1 million. I don't even know. I don't want to follow that discussion, but I can alert you. Today, I was luckily to be in a room with the Minister of Women and Children Living with Disability, and I was also with the Minister of Police and her deputy, who is a woman, and I was asking them questions that need to be asked. Like, I even asked us to have a press release after our meeting, because we were preparing for those who are going to CSW, and also just as a gender council, because the gender council has never taken up any matters. It has never met. It has never done anything. It was just a council that has been proposed. It's people who are expecting the issue, and NGOs are there, civil society, gender links is also in there. We're hoping it's not just going to be a sitting in and a talk show. We can come up with, some strategy to taking the country forward, because even the president, on his State of the Nation, he decided the council must resolve the problems. Having said that, the Minister of Police, we were able to say to her, you've disappointed us. How can your own police be the one who's going to go and pick up a man who is a criminal if himself is a criminal? So now they need to do a clean, retrospection within their own structure and see who's a rotten potato. They need to go, because it means I would be killed, and the person who will kill me can phone and call another corrupt police to come and arrest him with that thing that they know they would get away with it. And there were so many emotions in the room. We were all not talking one thing. Even the ministers, they felt like they were defeated. The NGOs, civil society is talking in anger, and they know they're telling things as they are. And when you look at the government want to cover up. They want to have all these different things, coming. So I don't want to lie to you. At the moment, the police also themselves, not that I'm just blaming them, they have been part of the problem. And not only that, you look at Marikana, you look at these delivery protests in the township where people are asking for basic services. They're wanting jobs, they're wanting water to run in their taps, and they're not there, electricity is high, whatever. You can see that the country is going one way, and that one way, if some of these things are not being resolved, it will end up, we can just be like DRC. We're not far from DRC. We can. People are too angry in this country, and that is a problem. In the meantime, our president is building a mansion using the taxpayers' money. And now for the first time he says a sentence on rape and on the killing of the women, which again, even the men that come and rape the women, sometimes they say, we learned it from the leader. We've learned it from our leader. So we're going to have serious conversation, and serious conversations that really take us to another level. Because I cannot see how a person rape a 3-month-old baby and a 97-year-old grandmother. I have few cases of January, because we are only just talking about these ones that you saw on the TV. But there's a grandmother who's 97 was strangled just here in Northwest, was strangled, and she was raped. And another also 11-year-old even gave birth. Another, there are just too many cases. And people with this time, with the projects of rising up and marching and doing that, people are writing, they're writing on Facebook, they're writing on their inboxing, they need help. So I think I can say, I feel like we were bad with HIV, where we are now starting to sort of stabilize. We have produced a huge, I look at all of us who also mix the issues, who work in the gender-based violence. I think things have gone too far, and I don't know how we're going to manage and work together, even with government, to make things work. It will take, I don't know, prayers, reverend, traditional healers, traditional leaders, everybody to make things happen. Because in the rural areas also, the abduction, adoption, it's still happening. They still come, take a young girl, force them into marriages, and then that's it, And when the police come later and pick the men, they say, oh, we didn't know it was a crime. This is how we get wives. They pick the girl going to school. So especially in the in the today things, many women and men have died because of HIV. So those kids are all by themselves. So if you're a girl child, you live there, you have more problems than another. But if you are in the city like here, chances of you being raped are very high. So those are some of the challenges that we are facing.